Hey,
What's up?
how are you? Long time no see.
I know, it's been a while. I'm doing good. Hanging in there. How are you? How are things up in PA land?
They're okay, I guess. I've been in my house for like 8 weeks now, so
Cool.
uh, I can see as much of PA as I can see out my front and back windows.
Right, yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I see about the same.
Well, let's jump into this. Could you tell us who you are, where you are, and what you do?
hmm I am Dom Billett. I am in Nashville, Tennessee. It's where I lived for the past 4 years. And I'm a musician, primarily a sideman of the touring variety. So I play with a lot of different people and spend most of my time in a van traveling around the country.
I've seen you play with so many different bands, and I was trying to remember when we met. It must have been like 2008 or something. It's been a long time.
It has been a long time. Uh, Man, yeah, I know, it's wild. It's wild to think back to those Lancaster days. All the people I played with back then, and Mike McMonagle and Toy Soldiers kind of led me to where I'm at now. And yeah, it's a wild, wild, long journey. I know.
Yeah. And actually, the way I first found out about Toy Soldiers, I booked Percy for an outdoor show in downtown York, and I said to
Hmm.
Ben Roth, who would be a good fit to open this show, and he was like, "Oh, my friend Dom has this band, and they rule. You should book them." And that
Yeah.
was my first you know intro. So I thank Ben Roth. Shout out to Ben Roth.
Shout out. Good old
So
Nazareth boy.
tell tell me how you're passing the time with all that's going on right now. What's keeping you busy?
Um, well, I guess a lot of it is I've had, obviously more creative time than I normally get. And since I spend so much time traveling and learning other people's music, it's been really nice to focus on my own stuff. And every now and then I'll throw in a project for somebody else, which is really, really fun and gratifying. But I'm kind of like, building up a home studio setup and learning how to mix more and just learning how to capture sounds in a way that is exciting to me, maybe like lo-fi and strange to other ears or whatever, but it's like exciting to focus on something new like that. I've been cooking a lot, which has been great. I spend a lot of my time doing that regardless whenever I'm home, and it's always been a super meditative practice to me, more
Mm.
so than like even music. It's good to just like zone out and not have to focus on, I don't know, anything besides chopping some potatoes and bell peppers. It's nice. So those two things have really been taking up a lot of time. Riding my bike a lot, reading, that sort of stuff.
It's good. Those are all things that I love. Are you finding that um, you are able to be creative with this time? How is the sort of forced time at home affecting your creativity? I guess is what I'm asking.
It's a good question. It comes in waves, but I think that's sort of pretty regular for me, regardless of the circumstance. It's always been like a kind of just it comes in spurts and it's pretty sporadic. So I just try to ride it whenever it's there, and if I'm going through a lull, I try my best not to force it. Although sometimes I do anyways, just because there's infinite amounts of time now to try whatever. So I guess to answer the question more specifically, it's not too much different than the creative process any other time for me. Because again, I don't really get much time to have that mindset.
Yeah,
So it's balanced, I suppose.
that's good.
Yeah.
Have you gotten to, other than working on your own things and maybe working on some other people's things, have you gotten to just listen to much music lately just to enjoy it?
Not necessarily. That's always been like a weird thing for me too, in that I'll get into a couple records and go back into things that have inspired me before, but I haven't really gotten too deep. I guess the thing I've gotten into deep as of late, the past couple of days, is lots of Afrobeat stuff because of the passing of Tony Allen
Yeah.
2 days ago. And for some reason, there's always obviously like a influx of wanting to hear that person's music whenever somebody has passed. But for him, since he was such an innovator in his sound and a musician who had totally his own voice and invented this own thing, I've been diving really deep into interviews with him and to a lot of the fellow stuff from the mid 60s, uh, and the stuff he did with like Air and a couple of other bands, and just like the way that he plays the drums is so infectious, and then it's just such a musical style. So that's been really fun to like dive into something and listen to it the past couple of days, and that's kind of fresh on my mind. So that's
We've had a lot of notable passings during this time.
yeah, I
And
know.
it feels like more in a row from the music world than normal, or I don't know if my awareness of it is just heightened because of not doing much else and not being as busy out and about. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's been a rough time.
I know, and it makes it seem all the more end of days ish when you hear of somebody that's so influential going to something like a virus that's just like now totally in our zone of everything that we're experiencing. It's just like, what do we grasp onto? But just keep on keeping on, I suppose.
Yes. And the silver lining is then, somebody like Tony Allen passes, and then you do the deep dive into the music, and it uh, feels even more meaningful. So
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is nice to reconnect if there's anything good to be taken from losing someone that you look up to.
absolutely.
Um, so what would you be doing now here at the beginning of May? I guess May 3rd. What would you be doing had this not happened? Do you know where you would be right now?
I would be, I would be on tour with Faye Webster, playing drums
Oh,
for
wow.
her, somebody that I play with a lot. And we're actually going to be out with supporting Andy Schauf on his new record release, which has also obviously been postponed. And I'm trying to think where we would have been. An alert came up in my phone actually, and I've been seeing a lot of those since I've been off, and it's just kind of like a virtual slap in the face. That
Yeah.
would have been somewhere in the Northeast, I think. But I was really looking forward to that tour for many reasons. I love the Faye band. I love the people that I play with in that group, and obviously to see Andy Schauf every night would have been highly just inspiring, and you know.
Yeah.
But that is where I would have been right now.
And let me throw you one more question that wasn't on the list. What are you most looking forward to doing once it's safe to go back out into the world again? What's the thing that you can't wait to do?
Oh, hug some people, shake some hands, get back in the ball pit, touch some stuff. I don't know, just see friends, and communication face to face has obviously been a thing that's been lacking in life, and such an integral part. So just to do that, talk to people and see facial expressions and like react to reactions again. Play music with other people, obviously. I mean, that's a given. But yeah, I've been missing the reactionary sort of thing, whether it be in music or social interaction.
Yeah. Have you, when we texted yesterday, I think you mentioned something about you had done Instagram Live before. Have you done any sort of live streaming performance or been part of any kind of like putting something together virtually that's gone out since this has
Um,
happened?
the thing I was referencing, the only time I did it was with my friend Lou Hyatt, who is from the band of the band Dove and the Wolf, and she also has stuff under her own name. And she's been doing these really cool things on her Instagram page called Grapefruit Meditations.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a really fun watch because she's pretty awesome at peeling a grapefruit. And so half of the screen is her, you know, kind of this almost like sensual video of her preparing this grapefruit, and then she'll have guests, musical guests, artists, people accompany the process. So I joined along and like played some drums and some synthesizers and some loops, and just kind of that was actually a nice nod to reactionary music and being able to like watch something and go off of what was happening. It was really fun. So that's the only thing I've done. But as far as live stream performances, I haven't done anything else. It's yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to. Also, it's a weird thing to me. just for that to be the norm right now, I don't know, it's a bummer in some sort of ways, and it kind of makes me sad. But I also know that that's the way everybody's connecting, and I'm not knocking it at all. I think it's beautiful when people
Sure.
do it, and if you can do it, that's great. But for me, it's just I don't know. It's still a weird thing I haven't yet wrangled emotionally, I guess.
Yeah, well, and it's all happening and changing so quickly as people are figuring it out. So it's interesting.
Definitely.
And now that you mentioned the grapefruit thing, I totally tuned in and watched part of that because it just said at the top. It's cool too. Whenever I open Instagram, somebody is live doing something,
You know,
whether it's playing music or just talking or whatever. And that's been pretty interesting. I see in the chat here, Ron Gallo has joined. I'm talking to Ron today at 3 p.m. Eastern. I see Aaron Lee Tastian is here. I talked to him the first week of doing this. I think this is week 7 now.
oh, nice,
I'm just gonna,
great.
I'm gonna do this every Sunday so we can leave the house again, and it's been a really nice way to catch up and hear what everybody's doing. And collectively, it's super cool that everyone's experience is different, but there are
Yeah,
certain themes that have emerged too. So yeah,
absolutely. Hi,
um,
Ron. Hi, Aaron. My buds. I miss you guys. Spent many
um,
days on the road with those folks.
such great dudes.
Hmm.
So Dom, before we wrap up, what do you want to say about how we can find more info about you, how we can support you, or the things you care about? Whatever you want to say, go for it.
Oh, uh, I saw this question. I wasn't really sure how I was going to respond to it. I don't know. I mean, I have a website. It's under my name. If you care to like follow, it's all the people I play with and all the people I care about. Put out a record. That's my own music, and that's all linked in there too. It's on Bandcamp. You can, again, it's just under my name. But go support all of the artists that I play with, and also the artists that you just love, whether it be buying their record digitally or a physical copy, or like getting in touch with them, sending them money via Venmo or PayPal or something, because everybody's experiencing it, a variety of different ways in the music world, and everybody could use some love, whether it's just like a message or I don't know. It's all important and valuable, I feel like. But those things, Music Cares has been an awesome resource for musicians and freelance types, and I can't thank them enough for what they've done for me over the years and in this. And I know they're helping out a lot of other musicians. There's tons of organizations out there that are just like raising money for the people, and it's a really beautiful thing. So that's awesome to see too, and everybody coming together and supporting this when everybody's feeling similar things. So that stuff, yeah, go listen to some music and buy some music from people you love.
Great advice. It's a good recommendation. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. It's really good to see you, even if only through the phone.
Yeah, it's
And
great.
for anybody else who's tuned in, I have 2 more of these interviews today. The next one is at 2 p.m. with Chris Shin in Charlotte, North Carolina, and at 3 p.m. Eastern with Ron Gallo, who we mentioned earlier, who I think is still in the chat. And then we'll do it every Sunday until this is not the way I have to live my life anymore. But it's really good of you to take the time and chat with me a bit.
Yeah, it's been great. It's good to talk with you. You stay safe, and hopefully we can hang soon in real life.
I hope so. Take care, Dom.
BJJ, take care.
Bye bye.
Bye.